ma'am. It is 6:02. We're ready to go on YouTube if you are. I was just doing attendance on the list to follow up with you. If you'd like, I can
I
go
think
live.
Richard is here and so is
Yes,
Daniel.
I have you, Evie, Richard, Dan. Amy and Tom are not here.
Okay, well, in view of
Are you
everybody's
ready?
time constraints, I think we should start. If
Okay.
37, 14,
One
30.
moment, Marie, please.
Yes, we're on YouTube.
We are on YouTube. Thank you,
Yes.
Alexis. I'm sorry, Marie. Thank you. Then we can move forward.
Okay, 37, 14, 34th. LLC, are you here?
Yes.
Uh,
Hello.
Hello, there you are. All right, so I'm just looking over your application. I'm a little unsure about the security guards. Will they be armed?
So no, we believe it's a pretty safe environment. Sorry, I'm trying to hear and also talk at the same time, but
It's okay.
we don't plan on, armed security guards. I'm the same attorney that my name is Wei Hu of MRTA Law PC, representing Si Hong Shin. I helped also Jeremy Rivera open Turp Brothers, and we don't believe having an armed security guard would really benefit our store or the neighborhood. Thus far, there's been no incidents with any licensed dispensary, so we don't believe having an armed
Just a
security guard is
question.
necessary.
Okay, so you will use your unarmed security guard outside
Yes.
the overcrowding? Is that what
Yes.
it appears to be?
Well, it's a pretty it's not some of the busier commercial streets, but it is, somewhat near a train station. They're broad, they're broad sidewalks, and we will use stanchions as well as security guards in events of sort of crowding or overcrowding.
Right. And
in addition, we'll also have express pickup windows and delivery to sort of abate any need for clients to come in, immediately. So we don't really anticipate much of an outdoor crowd. We do have sort of enough space to sort of have a small waiting room inside. So that'll help things as well.
Okay, I see you have a lease, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
For this space. Right, does any of the committee members have a question here?
This is Richard Kazami. My normal question is that I'm always concerned that you train your staff properly to make sure they don't sell to inebriated or underage customers. And I think that's an important responsibility of all the dispensaries.
Oh no, absolutely. I've had the good fortune of personally conducting training of the bud tenders at Turp Brothers. And number one is, I think, training and reinforcement that anyone inebriated, anyone who sort of seems that they're not in the sort of the right mental space to purchase cannabis will not be served. So it's going to be everywhere from both the security guard outside to as well as the managerial staff and even the frontline bud tenders to be trained to identify people that should not be serviced.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And I see you also committed to local hiring. So
yes,
thank
absolutely.
you for that. Thank you for
Yes.
that. Does any other committee member have a question?
Could I just get clarity on the address? Is it okay? It's 34th.
Yeah, 3714 34th Street. Yeah.
30. So
37th Avenue?
No. Yes, 37th Avenue, 34th Street.
okay.
It's near the 36th Street subway station, the E, F, and R. It's about block and a half from those train station. That train station.
Yeah, I just wasn't clear whether it was street or avenue because it didn't say that on our.
Oh, sorry, my apologies.
So just because if it were 34th Street, it would be right next to a school.
Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, it's third. Yeah, no. So looking at the map right now, confirm 37th Avenue.
Okay. So 3414 37th Avenue. That's the address?
It's 3714 34th Street. 37th Avenue, 34th Street.
So
Okay.
it's off 37th Avenue.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. Any other committee member have a question? Okay, so thank you very much for being here. We'll be voting on this
Thank
at
you.
the board meeting. Thank you. Okay, then next is Hey Bud.
Hello, how are you? Hey, Abby. Hi, Florence.
So you will be located. Can you state the address, please?
Going to be 3818 Astoria
Story
Boulevard, 03.
Okay, so is that next to Dunkin' Donuts or? Are you next to Dunkin' Donuts on that block? Is that the block you're on? Okay, well, you note that you are not next to a school because you're by a highway. Right around the corner is a mosque
Yes.
and a school.
What's the school?
The Al-Mad, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Al-Madina School, right next door to the mosque.
Is it a religious school?
It is.
Okay, I'm gonna have to call the OCM to see because I spoke with the representative earlier today and they said so long as we get the approval from the imam that we should be fine. I was unaware that there was also a school
Well,
attached.
there is a school attached to the mosque.
Okay.
Just opened up, actually, I think.
Yeah, that's behind us.
That's around the corner from you.
Yeah.
Okay, you walk down the block, you make a right, it's a few doors down.
Okay.
Okay, you might want to check on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow up with the OCM tomorrow because I called today. They said that so long as the religious house of worship, because they were having problems with the Rastafari community and having that the 200 feet situation, and they don't want to have another litigation on their shoulders. So I'm just gonna double check, and if I have to speak directly with Tamina Wright, I will. So
Okay, if you could check on that, I would greatly appreciate it. It's really not that far from the mosque. Even though you're on Astoria Boulevard, the mosque is on Steinway Street, a few doors down.
It's less than 200 feet.
Yes,
yeah,
for
I
sure.
I think it was when I checked it with like a walker or something, it was around 204. So I thought we were safe. That
well,
was our
that 204, 199.
204 feet. Yeah, it's just in striking distance.
Yes, let's check on that. And on top of that, there's a school attached right to the mosque.
Yeah.
So. Anybody else have any other comments? Questions?
Did you talk to the imam? You said
I have to have Mr. Yafi confirm because they're actually one of the founders of that location. His father, they hail from Yemen, I believe. So I don't see why they wouldn't give approval, but I'm gonna double check with him. He's just sick. That's why I'm here in his stead today.
Okay, double check. We're just doing our due diligence and
course.
it seems pretty close.
Yeah.
Though on a different street. Okay, any other committee members have a question? No. So Orlando, you'll get back to us on that, please.
Yes, within
Okay.
the week before you guys take the vote.
Yes. Otherwise, I don't have any other question about the paperwork. Does anyone else?
No, I've submitted executed lease, honor and hiring locals and our hours of operation. Also, no armed person, though I do want to speak to Mr. Yaffe to see if maybe he'll change his mind, only because that area is very dangerous, in my opinion, as a member of this community. A lot has happened there. So.
Yes.
Mhm.
My office is right around the corner.
Yeah.
And given that situation, this is Mr. Kuzami. Again, it's also important to make sure that proper training is done. Make sure there's no sales to inebriated or minors, and you have a lot of both down there. So that's extremely important. Do you know if he has such training in mind?
Yes, we used the NYC liftoff training. That's I can't remember her name. I think I have the email on my phone. If you could just give me 2 seconds, I'm sorry. Um,
Go ahead. Take your time.
Yeah, the higher connection, small business experience. So there's one that happened Thursday, December 7th, but we did ours back when they were first initiating these trainings in, I think it was April or May. So we'll be using, I can send you a copy of what that looks like. It's literally, I don't know if it's like it's deputized by the OCM to the city, if my camera could just stop doing the thing.
We're not allowed to share personal information online. Please don't do that, Orlando. Send it to the office. I'll give it to the board members.
My mistake. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we'll wait to hear from you, Orlando. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, next is Fahi Convenience Incorporated, 3514 28th Avenue.
Yes, that's me. Hello.
Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. So again, we see that you will be using armed guards. Is that correct?
Yes.
And security cameras.
Yes.
So you think that armed guards are necessary at this location?
I don't think so it's necessary, but it will prevent the fake people coming in with fake ID and stuff like that. I don't want it to sell it to a minor.
Well, no, of course not. Well, I'm sure you'll be checking IDs and scanning.
Yes, it's a convenience stores with beer and cigarette and lotto. So I'm very aware of doing that. So
Through the chair, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry. I think you're currently operating, are you not?
not as a dispensary, no.
But there is a location there.
Not where I am, not me.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Lauren.
there's an issue here. You're not allowed to sell beer, wine, or wine coolers where you're selling cannabis.
No, so I'm going to convert into
Yeah, that's yes.
this. I'm going to convert.
You did state. That's why I was just bringing it to their attention. Okay.
So you're currently operating a different business, to be clear.
Yeah.
You yourself are. Mr. Patel, you are operating this business that's currently at 3514 28th Avenue?
Yes.
Okay. And you will disband that business and open?
No, so I'm going to change it into a dispensary.
You're going to change it and you're going to remove
Yes.
anything that's not permitted to be sold with cannabis, correct?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
just use my expertise here.
Okay, so obviously you have a lease. You're currently in possession of a lease for the other space. For the current space.
My landlord is willing to change it to it.
Okay.
I have my landlord's approval.
Okay. Does any committee member have a question for this gentleman?
My same question, this is Mr. Kazami again. What arrangements will you make for training of staff for security and for making sure they don't sell to inebriated or minors?
Yes, well, I'm going to have a security guard in the front checking everybody's ID and then only then they can enter the establishment.
What about inebriated though?
What about what?
People who are physically not in the right shape to purchase cannabis. In other words, people that might be drunk, might be already too high.
Although they are not allowed to enter. I'm going to have somebody standing right by the door, so they won't let them in.
And what kind of training will you use to make sure that they, in fact, know how to look for the signs? The reason I ask all this is, and I ask this of every applicant, is I think that it's important that we go, as a community, go on the record as to making sure that this is an important priority for everybody that's starting this business. So,
no, definitely it is very important. So I'm going to have a trained staff in the front. I'm going to have outside people like a company that can check in.
Okay, make sure that they have the proper training themselves.
Of
The
course,
fact that they're
with
another
the-
company doesn't necessarily mean they're properly trained. Mhm.
and they hired people and they put it up just like if you enter a bar or a club, they have people
Mhm.
checking and let them down in.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
And you're committed to local hiring, I see from your application?
Yes. So the security guards and people will be from the local people.
Any committee members have a question? No?
Yes, Dan
Okay,
Albert.
Dan, go ahead, Dan, please.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm not clear on what you said about the security guard and checking whether the people are already intoxicated when they purchase the product. Can you clarify? Can you explain that again, please?
Sure, if they are intoxicated, they are not allowed to enter the building. That's the protocol then, and we will comply with the rules and regulations that government pull out.
And you're going to determine that they're intoxicated by what method?
Just judging by how they act and their behavior.
Who's going to do that? What person is going to do that?
The securities people that I'm going to hire.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Patel, for being here. We'll be voting on this at the next board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, next is Supreme NYC.
Yes, hello.
Hello,
Hi.
located at 4303 Broadway.
Yes,
Okay, so we see here you will have security guards armed. You'll use security cameras.
no,
Where-
no, sorry, no armed security guards.
Okay, you checked off yes.
Oh, then
So,
that was my error. No
okay,
armed security guards.
okay, thank you. You'll also have security cameras. And you're gonna handle sidewalk lines with your security officers and staff?
That's, yes, we have, the cannabis workforce development gives, educational, course class that, educate the staff, the bud tenders and everybody about the safety and the rules and regulations of the establishment.
Okay,
So that, and if we have hopefully a line outside going around the block, then that will take our internal staff with staff T-shirts and an unarmed security guard to control the traffic, so that we don't want to affect also the community and the other businesses out there.
okay. Do you think most of the people will be ordering ahead of time and picking up or walking in?
We hope so. We have deliveries. We hope so. My experience and knowledge with going in and working on this cannabis for 3 years and visiting other licensed cannabis stores, we see that there's a big community impact in a positive way
Okay,
to contribute to the community around us, even though being a cannabis store.
I see you're gonna commit to local hiring as well.
Absolutely. I'm a Queens. I live in Queens. I live here in Long Island City. I love Astoria, and absolutely, we're a service. I'm a service disabled veteran owned business. So community is very big.
Okay. Any other committee member have a question?
I
Go ahead,
have a
Abby.
question. Yeah, could you just remind me, what is the distance needed for a religious institution? There was a church on 44th Street.
1,000 feet.
So there's
1,000 feet.
so there is within
Or
the
co-
the The Gian Federation, there is a church that operates out of there.
That is close.
There's a church that operates out of there, or that's not a church, but the building is not a church. They operate out of there. We're gonna have to get clarity on that.
There's no operation. That church is not operational. It's
Are
an
we
empty
talking about
Through the
the same one?
chair,
One
I'm sorry?
second. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I saw something, but that's not operational. That's just, even on the website, they have no hours of operation or anything.
Can you tell me which one you're talking about, just to make sure we're talking about the same one?
I don't have it in front of me, but I'll double check that.
through the chair. Madam Chair,
Yes.
you had me check this. Religious institution has to be a freestanding religious institution only. If it's a multi-use building, the distance of 1,000 feet does not matter.
I thought that was for
For your
daycare.
information. That's also for religious institutions and schools. So if you have a daycare center and downstairs, it's a daycare
Yes.
center, but upstairs you have an insurance company, it does not count. If it's a church downstairs, they used to call them storefront churches. If you have a church downstairs and offices or apartment buildings upstairs, it does not count. For your information, from OCM, as you had me research it.
Evie?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure that the Hean Federation upstairs, if they don't have offices or anything, and I don't think they operate as a social club anymore. So I'm
The
not.
Hean Federation is a catering hall and a social club, and you can have an
Is it operating
engagement
again?
party. You can have an engagement party there. You can have a birthday party there. I've been to a multitude of birthday parties there. You can have it's an event space.
Okay, it's operating again, because I know that they were closed up at one point.
During COVID, yeah, they had problems during COVID
No, they had
financially.
problems, other problems well before that. So financial problems. Anyways, again, my same question now, the training that you talked about from OCM concerning your security and stuff, does that training also include observing your customers and making proper decisions on who you should sell to?
No, that doesn't give you that information. That's being a service disabled veteran owned company. Safety is everything for us. We don't want our product or any product getting in the hands of any child, minor, anyway. So we're going to implement screening, scanning IDs, on overcrowded crowds. We'll have unarmed security guards with our staff in staff t-shirts, and trying to control as much as we possibly can without even taking that risk of having a product to a minor. That's our biggest fear, basically. Not only me, but I'm sure other businesses. So being conscious of that and implementing, as you mentioned, which is important, the education. Educating the staff and everyone how to screen a certain person. If he's acting delirious, is he wobbling around while there's people online? And then, those little actions raise alarms. Those alarms have to be reported. Hey, I see someone here that's a little erratic. And then we have law enforcement for that.
Very good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
And thank you for being here. This will be voted on the next board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, so committee, the next 6.
Yeah.
Rolling Hills, Mary Williams, Four Leaves, Please, Potluck Project, the Happy Project, an example spot, if I'm reading that correctly, are all applications to the same address, which is 1118 Main Avenue. I think you might be more familiar with that neighborhood than I am. Looks like it could be in an apartment building, I'm not sure.
I'm very familiar with it.
Okay, so before we go forward, I understand multiple people can apply. I understand that there can be partners. However, these are 6 separate applications, if you look through them, and they're filled out exactly the same. Exactly. So, except the names are different.
I have a question.
Yes, so do I. So go
Go
ahead,
on.
Dan.
Yeah, my first question is, these 6 applicants, is this a corporation with 6 DBAs, or is it, is that what the situation is? That's my first question.
I have no way of knowing that.
We have
I-
somebody
I-
here.
We have to ask the people. The people are here, right?
Well,
Yes, it's me, Maxine Ka.
okay, Maxine, are you going to speak for all these 6
Yes,
applicants?
I'm here to speak for all 6
Because
entities.
I see, so is this, I have just one question.
Mhm.
Is this corporation out of town? Because I see most of the notaries are from Arkansas or from Arizona. So can you explain a little bit about the setup?
So I'm a cannabis business consultant and I represent all 6 of these entities. They are separate corporations. They have been formed according to the owner's, request in regards to the type of entity they wanted to form in what state for, filing for tax purposes or however they run their businesses. And so what we do is obviously file for foreign filing so that the entity can act or do business in New York. So that answers that one question. They are, of the 6, 2 of them so Lolling Hills and Mary Ways, they have the same team, meaning the same ownership structure.
Wait a minute, Lolling Hills? Is that what
Correct.
you mean?
And Mary Ways, it's actually Mary Ways, not Mary Williams. So
Mary Ways, okay, go ahead.
Fall Leaves and the Happy Project have the same ownership structure. And Potluck Project and, the Fall Leaves Please and Example Spot have the same ownership structure.
Is this going to be, I'm sorry if I interject, is this going to be some sort of a mall with different suppliers as you walk down a hallway and you go into a different room? I mean, I
No.
don't get this.
No.
I have a follow-up question.
Okay, so can you explain further then?
Yes. So only one of them will get it. So either Lolling Hills will get it, either Mary Ways will get it, either Fall Leaves Please will get it, Potluck Project, the Happy Project, or Example Spot will get it. So basically, because it's a lottery system in regards to how OCM is going to select an application or a licensee, in order to increase their chances of success, they had submitted multiple applications on the same property because it was available to them and it doesn't have to be exclusive. And so the way that OCM is going to select an applicant is based on who ranks higher, meaning who's on, the list. So let's just say Lolling Hills is application number 1 and Mary Ways is application number 5. Then Mary Ways will not get it and Lolling Hills will be the only applicant out of all these 6 entities that will be able to open a dispensary at that location.
What makes somebody number 1?
It's a random selection. It's a lottery. So the state will put all of the applications that they've received into some sort of computerized system, and they will randomly assign a number to each application that has been received. And in that order, that's how they select an applicant. So let's just say the state is only going to issue 200 applications or 200 dispensary licenses. So they received 1,000 applications. They will randomly assign numbers 1 to 1,000 for all applications, and numbers 1 to 200, those are the people that get licenses. If they have the same facility or the same address, the higher ranking person will trump the lower ranking person.
Hmm.
Yeah.
My follow-up question.
New York.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
If any one of those 6 people could get the license, no matter who it is, it's ultimately going to be the same corporation getting it. So basically, it's one person, one corporation putting 6 ballots in the box, so to speak. Is that it?
No, it's 3 different corporations or 3 different ownership structures, 2 each.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
but no matter who, the other 2 will be with them. Is that right?
No, they're completely separate ownership structures.
Okay, so if one of these is taken, whichever one of these is taken, all 4 others will be hired as employees. They'll be out in the street. What will happen with the other 4?
They
Or
don't,
five?
they're not tied to each other. The only ties they have to each other is the property and me as their consultant. So they've hired me to help them put their application together. And we were able to secure a deal with the owner of that property. And all applicants understand that, they're putting in for the same application, but only one team will get it.
Through
So
the
what I'm
chair, Madam
understanding-
Chair.
A minute. Go ahead, Jan, please.
So what I'm understanding now is that you got these companies together and you organized the building and the location and everything else, and this is your idea to do it this way?
No, I'm a cannabis business consulting firm. So I've done this 10 years all over the United States, including New York back when it was medical, New Jersey, Maryland, Hawaii, you name it, I've probably done it. And so a lot of people will reach out to my firm and ask for help in putting an application together. Some of them have access to real estate, some of them don't. In this case, these groups did not have access to real estate. And so they have decided to go with an option I was able to provide them. So it's not I have no entity, I have no equity in this. I'm not an owner. They paid me a fee to help them put this application together.
So you offered them this option, and they said, "Okay, it sounds great.
Yeah, they didn't
It'll
have
give
any
us a
other
better
option.
chance." Got it. So you may offer the same option to someone else if it works, correct?
No longer. I mean, the application period ended sometime in November for people applying with real estate. So you can't.
Did you offer this type of system to anyone else anywhere?
In different community boards or different districts, but not nothing else in this district.
And the other community boards were in Queens?
No, not Queens.
Were they accepted there? I mean, how did that
I mean,
work there?
it's I'm surprised that I'm the only one with a duplication in terms of address, but I've seen a lot of that across Manhattan, across Bronx, Brooklyn, but yeah.
So this is not an unusual thing. It seems to be that it's unusual to us because it's the first time we're seeing it. Is that right?
Right. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Maxine, can you tell me the exact location? Is this a storefront or it's in the building?
It is a building, so it's actually
It
11-16, not 14.
Oh, okay. That's maybe why I couldn't find it. Are you familiar with this location, Richard?
1-6. I gotta check and make sure. I think so. I know the area very well. It's very,
So
very,
it's in a high rise? Is that
It's
a
a
high?
new building. If
it's a new. it's a
Yeah, I
new
think so.
New condominium. These are condominiums with if it's the same building, new condominiums with commercial on the bottom floor, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and yes, I do know the owner too of the building. So my question is this: given the neighborhood, do these applications are all similar? Will a question normally that Marie would ask, but I think that your security arrangements are very important down there.
Mhm.
So they have all agreed. Whoever wins this, they all have the same offer the same security arrangements, training. Is everything all going to be the same? Because how can we vote on something unless we're actually talking to the operators? I don't quite.
Yeah, that would be me. So we not only help people get licensed, but we also help people get opened. And so what we would typically do is we would hire a security director who's local to, the area. And then we have a security cannabis firm who specializes in security and cannabis that work nationally, who we've worked with in majority of the states we've helped open facilities in, and they'll come together to create, the most efficient and safest security plan for that specific facility. So in regards to armed guards or unarmed guards and patrolling schedules and security systems and where the cameras are placed and access controls and all of that, that will be between the security director as well as the national security cannabis firm that we typically work with.
Through the chair.
Yes, Hans.
Even though this entity, Maxime Knott, has these applicants, there are only 1,000 applications that are going to be accepted statewide. Even though these 6 people are applying with us, not one of them may get, one of them may, of the 6 may get a license, or all 6 may not get a license.
Well,
We
I
don't
think we
know.
understand that. I understand that. I'm just trying, this is very,
Additionally,
I just want to ask Maxine one thing before I forgot. How large is the space, square footage? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head. Let me see if I can pull it up from the lease.
Also, did they have to get, did they have to go to the condo association to get approval of putting such a business in what is a residential building?
I don't think that we've approached that yet, and if that is a requirement, we will. Everything is obviously to be determined pending on whether we get this license. So it's my job to make sure that while we are doing our due diligence, to the extent we can submit an application, I also don't want to be spending hundreds and hundreds and millions of dollars or hundreds and thousands of dollars with attorneys and all of that on a maybe, right? And so
Just a question. So when we explain this to the board, we can assure them that only one of these or none would be going in.
Only one
Correct.
space, so it has to be, yeah.
Yeah, or none,
Or none.
depending. Okay. Anybody else have a question, Evie? No? Amy? No one.
Are we supposed, I have a question for you, Marie, actually. As the board, we're gonna actually, how can we vote on approval or disapproval of anything if we don't know who the applicant is? That's.
We know who the possible applicants are,
Okay,
which is also always the case,
yeah,
not unique to this particular case.
yeah, we'll just have to vote on
Yeah.
all.
Okay, we're not voting here, though. Okay, we'll be voting at the board meeting. Thank you, Maxine, for answering my questions and being patient. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that was 6. That was easy. 6 and 1. Next is Posh Cannabis Station Corporation.
Yes, hi.
Hi, can you give me the address of the proposed location?
2235 31st Street, Astoria, New York, 11105.
2235 31st Street. Okay, I'm going through a mound of paperwork trying to find this application. That's why I asked.
Nope.
So if somebody has it in front of them, they can start asking questions. Oh, and look at that, I just found it. Okay, great.
Great.
So you'll be having security guards, armed security guards. 2235 31st Street. Where's that in location, Evie? Refresh my memory to PS 85.
It is, I think it's closer to, I think St. Catherine's and St. George it's literally right in the backyard of that. So PS 80, it is up the street from PS 85, but I think it's further away. I don't think it's within the distance, but in terms of a religious institution,
Yeah, that's around the corner.
it's literally like behind it, so.
I think as the crow flies, it's pretty close. But if you go around the corner, you may get.
You have to go around 2 corners. Okay. Right.
So are they looking at that? They're looking at you're traveling along street. I guess I'm trying to understand how they measure distance.
We walked the street, yes.
No, I'm sorry. One second. My mistake. It's 2335.
Oh.
2335.
That is close to the school.
Oh, it's 23, not 22?
Correct. Well, that's, yes, 2335.
Then
So that would be closer to 85 than it is.
Pretty close, yeah.
Probably on the other side of the street.
So is this, I'm just trying to think of which building this is. Is this one of the?
This is like next door to George Alexio's place. Sounds like.
Richard, can you Google that? Or I'll Google it.
through the chair,
Yes,
on the
fine.
block of George Alexio's business, there's an unlicensed cannabis place. I would question if this is the unlicensed cannabis place licensing to become legal.
Oh.
I'm just trying, yes, but we still want to know how close it is to the
It's
school.
very close to the school.
Is it like right across the street?
It is basically across the street and on the corner. So it used to be, let me think of what.
It's a pizzeria on the corner, Evie.
It's on the corner of,
They're half a block away from Ditmer's.
yeah, it's on
No,
20.
no, you're not a half a block away from Ditmars. You're
No,
half a block away from 23rd Avenue, maybe,
they're on 23rd Road. So,
23rd Road.
yeah. And 31st Street. It's right. So currently, this is the current wedding store, is that it?
Near the old Greek record store, whatever.
Yeah, next to it, on the corner, there's that like Greek, favor
Yes,
thing,
exactly.
gifts and things like
Maybe
that.
we can ask, who is here representing Posh Cannabis?
Hi, me. So my address is 2235, not 2335.
Okay, the application says 2335.
It's probably.
I know you
probably-
can't. Well, it's only making a difference tonight.
Yeah, probably someone made him, I probably made a mistake, or my my accounting. Yeah, it's 2235.
Okay.
Okay. So can you please correct that? I don't care who made the mistake, it needs to be corrected. And sent
Okay.
back to the office, please.
Okay, will do.
Okay, so now we're back to 2235.
Yes.
Okay,
Which is
so I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead, Richard. Are you speaking?
no. I'm just
You're not speaking? You're muted.
Is that near the Target and all that stuff?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're two doors
I
away.
think that's it.
3 doors
Sounds
away.
like it.
Okay, then, all right.
Okay, so like Evie said, it's the front end, but what can we do about that? That's certainly more than 1,000 feet.
Are we sure they go by the walking around the street
They
idea,
don't go by
or
the,
is
cro-
it?
they don't go by the
Not
crow.
as. Okay.
Liquor license
No crow.
always we're basically, by the direct, not having to do walking around, but actually from front door to front door of the two facilities of the school and the liquor lot. I don't know.
Well, that's definitely more than 1,000 feet. I mean, you could say the same thing about a Mac, which is like go the other way.
Mhm.
So for those of us who know our schools, yes. All right, so you'll be using armed guards. You're going to have security cameras. I don't understand what this means. The token would have an approximate wait time. What does that mean?
So if you see the floor layout, we have a receptionist area. So we're gonna have like a waiting area where we're gonna scan IDs and just make sure they're qualified to come in the dispensary. And so there's a wait time there.
Instead of on the street.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Right, and you have a lease here? Yes, I see you do.
Yes.
Okay, and you're committed to local hiring.
Correct.
And does anybody else have a question?
My standard question on training to make sure that young people or inebriated people are not able to purchase.
Of course, training. So like I mentioned, we have the receptionist. The receptionist will be very they will be very careful with scanning people, make sure they're all over age, they're qualified to come in to the dispensary. They're going to be well trained to do this.
Okay. Anyone else have a question? Okay,
I have a, I
go
have
ahead, Dan. Go ahead, please.
I'm sorry, it takes me time to unmute.
No, it's okay, no problem.
So, do I understand that you are not going to have a line outside security guard, or you don't expect to have people lined up outside? Is that correct?
Depending how, the volume we get, we might have a line outside. We will have an unarmed security guard outside, but we will also have like a waiting area, which will maybe take about 5 to 6 people at a time. If we do get more than that, then there will be a line outside.
They'll be in a like a waiting room. They'll be standing there, sitting down, waiting. What will they be doing
Sitting down.
there?
It's gonna be a reception where it's gonna be chairs to sit down. Like it's the same thing when you go to like a doctor's appointment. Well, you're gonna be waiting to be called in or checked in to go to see a doctor or see. So it's gonna be the same thing.
Now, I understand that a dispensary, you can't have clear windows to the dispensary. So this
Right.
waiting area, is this considered part of the dispensary? Will people from the street be able to see these folks waiting there?
So we'll block from the street to the waiting area and from the waiting area to the dispensary. So if you see the layout, we have glass between the street and the waiting area and the waiting area to the dispensary.
But will the glass through the street be blackened or darkened or something?
Yeah, we'll have it. It will be dark. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and so there may be a line outside, and if there is, you're going to have the security guard out there. If not, the security guard goes inside?
No, he will stay outside just to make sure, everything is safe in the street. No one is, just if people have any questions on how to get in or, how to be a part of the dispensary.
And this guard will, so since you can't be advertising your store, will this
Right.
guard be wearing anything that, how will people know he's a guard or just somebody loitering around?
It's
Since
just
there's
gonna have,
not
like,
going to be a line out there.
it's gonna
Maybe.
be basically a security guard with like a security guard T-shirt, and we're gonna have signage outside that's gonna say that it's a dispensary, and people will have an idea of what it is.
And the guard will have this shirt that says what?
It's just a security guard, like just says security in the back, security in the front, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Richard?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. And next is Be Well at 3326 Norton Boulevard.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Jennifer Cabrera. I am with Be Well. I'm also joined by Karen Nash, who is the sole owner. I'm her attorney.
Good
Oh,
evening.
there we are.
All right,
Yes.
so your paperwork appears to be in order. You will not have armed security guards. You will
That is
use
correct.
security cameras and ID scanners. And I know you sent a loading and delivery plan. We don't have it in front of us. Could you explain that to us?
Yes, of course. So Be Well, Karen also owns a dispensary up in Massachusetts. And so she has several years experience doing this. And so some of the methods that we use for ensuring safe deliveries is making sure that deliveries come on random days so that it's not always at the same time on the same day, so that basically bad guys aren't able to track it. They will always make sure that there are at least 2 people with a delivery. They will come straight in. The security guard will let them in. They're going to have to show an ID and also a sort of transit log showing where the product is from, and they'll be brought directly to the vault inside the building.
Thank you.
And I noticed on the agenda for today that our address was typed as 3226 Northern Boulevard. But you said it correctly just now. It's 33.
Yes, the application is correct. So thank you for that. Does anyone have a question?
Can you repeat the address, Madam Chair, through the chair?
Yes, the address is as stated on the application, 3326 Northern Boulevard.
3326. So the numbers were inverted. Okay, thank you very much.
Mhm.
I have a
yeah,
question.
Go ahead, Dan.
Go ahead, Dan.
Marie, did we get another application very close to this location at one time?
We had another one on Northern Boulevard. Yes, we did. But I think it was on the next block. We can check that, Florence. Can you check that, please?
I think it was on 33rd Street.
Yeah, really?
This is 33 something.
I can confirm with you tomorrow the addresses. However, as it goes, again, some or none of these people may get licensing.
Okay, but I see that at this establishment, check with the Office of Cannabis Management, and the closest licensed cannabis shop is Kush Culture, which is 1.92 miles away.
That was one of the original ASNI applications that we did back, I think, in either April or May, which was the formerly incarcerated or criminally injustice involved, which is a little bit far.
1.92 miles, almost 2 miles.
Yeah, that's Ditmars, right?
Northern Boulevard.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Steinway Street, actually, off Northern Boulevard. Isn't that, am I wrong? Isn't that the old gym? A female, what was the name of it? Lucille Roberts?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Might be.
It might be. It might be. But we had one on Northern Boulevard a couple of months ago. It should be on the list, Florence. Could you please check that?
Yeah, I'll get it for you tomorrow.
I'm pretty sure because I remember asking a question of how close is it to the welfare center or the HRA center. And,
yes.
I remember being told it was a block away because it was 33 something, and now
Marie, you have the
again.
list now. I had emailed you the list. Let me see if I can pull it up while we're doing this.
Can you pull it up? And,
Danny, I think Danny's right, because I remember that conversation, and I remember it's very close to the police station or the auxiliary station, whatever, where they.
Mm-hmm.
Try to pull it up, Marie.
I'm sorry?
I'll try to pull it up for you.
Right. In the meantime, does anybody else have a question?
Well,
you got this information, I guess, from the Office of Cannabis Management. But they're saying the closest license, that this is recent. So they might not have this information yet. So we're going to check on it. If you can bear with us for a couple of minutes.
This might be only existing ones that are already licensed.
Right. We want to see which ones came through here already.
So the OCM's
that would be irrelevant
website.
anyways, because then if they're going to have this lottery, it doesn't even whatever. That
I understand it's an exercise in futility. Got it.
Yeah,
which is 100% right.
So anyway, I get my question, and I'm glad to ask this of you because you are so experienced. As you noticed, I ask everybody about the training that the staff has, similar to a bartender cannot sell to inebriated individuals and can be held liable if they do. Will a similar situation exist here, and what kind of training is available? And I'd be interested to know if, since you are so experienced, are there firms that provide this kind of training that are have proven to be good at what they're training, so that we have this information too? I'd like to have it down the road in case we run into problems with other institutions.
Sure. So here in Massachusetts, we're required to provide, I forget how many hours, but responsible vendor training to every staff member on a yearly basis. And part of that is, understanding how to identify in a real ID. It's also about identifying somebody that is inebriated. And, the location I have is in Provincetown, Mass, which is a huge party town. So it's something that we deal with on a regular basis. And we train our staff as far as, not only responsible vendor training, that like Greenflower is the company we use, but also we do it too, as far as like, okay, well, that person's drunk, which you can stand outside and just see drunk people walking by on a regular basis. And we haven't had a problem with that whatsoever. The staff is very well trained, and we don't sell to the inebriated. It's one, we're not allowed to. You also don't want to do that.
And of course, the same with minors, I'm assuming.
Well, of course. And the ID scanner we use scans it, and it goes into it's like an electronic scanner, and it will tell if it's a real ID or not. And as well as also, we have a booklet if we're not sure, and being able to check it to make sure it is a valid ID.
So
thankfully in 3 years we have not had an issue with any of this. I'm sure we've turned many people away.
So then the name of this, I'd love to get the name of this firm, because I'd like to know if they have any similar firms down here that they could recommend.
Through the chair.
Yes, Florence.
Madam Chair, through the chair, New York State requires through OCM, when people are applying for cannabis licenses, to use the point of sale system, which tells each business how much cannabis is sold. In addition to that, New York State provides training to all new cannabis businesses in order how to identify people who are inebriated and so on and so forth. A big part of the training is hiring people who are qualified to work in cannabis shops. You can't just hire somebody, an individual who is not well trained through the state of New York. The state of New York is providing all of this training at this point. I can't, Madam Chair, I can't look
the OCM is organized. I mean,
it's through, if you go on to Richard, if you go onto the OCM website, you can look all this stuff up. It's all there.
Okay. Right.
That's how, I'm not a smart hand. I just read. Madam Chair, through the chair, I cannot look up the information as long as I'm sharing the screen. Are you okay for me to let go of this? Can I stop the share screen, or should I leave it?
Yeah, so I don't think it's going to be an issue anyway, because we don't know where the other group is in the process and whether they even received.
No. We've got no confirmations. Thus far, I've asked. We've gotten, the only one is Terps Brothers. The only ones that have gotten confirmed.
So if no one has any more questions?
Nobody.
I have another question.
Okay, Jan.
Regarding the ID scanning and ID cards, whatever, does the state dictate what IDs are acceptable? Do they say only a driver's license, only a non-driver's license, only a this, only a that? Do they say what? To
the best of my knowledge, yes. I'm waiting to find out. I don't know if they're accepting the NYID cards because they do not have age on it. And so the problem is for those of our neighbors who are undocumented citizens, I don't know what the ramifications are going to be later on. I can look that up for you tomorrow.
Maybe Maxine knows the answer to that question. Maxine, do you know the answer?
No, I can tell you the answer. So if you don't have a valid driver's license, you can use an ID card issued by another non-driver's ID card issued by the DMV, or a passport. Let's see, a consular identification card, an armed forces identification card. Those are the options.
So it's
ID NYC is permissible.
Okay. Thank you.
As long as it shows the age and photograph.
Correct. So it's good to know. So it's the standard.
Can she repeat those? I got ID by DMV, passport, armed forces, ID NYC as long as the age is shown. And what was the other one?
Armed forces, consular identification.
Thank you.
Of course, this is in section 125.15 of the adult use regulations.
1.25 what?
125.15.
Thank you so much. That's great. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, next.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions for this applicant? So, Ms. Nash, thank you so much for being here, and we'll be voting at this on the board meeting. Thank you.
Great, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sky Club, New York City Incorporated, 3637 31st Street.
Hello, everybody. My name is Stefanos Papadopoulos. I'll be representing for Sky Club.
Okay. So you will, well, you will not have armed security guard. You'll have security cameras, ID scanners.
Yes.
So you're on the ground floor, but you have 3 rooms. Can you explain the setup to me?
So yes, it's going to be like a kind of like a waiting area when you walk in, similar to what the other applicants were saying. So you come in, you get checked in by security, and then a hostess will then bring you into the dispensary area where you could shop as well, and then we'll have a back room for storage.
Okay, looking at, do you own the building?
No. So I had just emailed you guys updated copies. I know I'd made a mistake. We made
Okay.
a mistake when filling it out. We do not own the building, but I did provide all that information via email earlier today.
Okay, so you have a lease.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, does any other committee member have a question? This is 36th Avenue, I guess, and 31st Street. Is that correct?
It's in between 36th Ave and 37th Ave on 31st Street, correct?
What's currently at this location? Do you know?
It's a new building. It is next to it is a yes, resident. It's a residential with a commercial on the bottom with 2 storefronts, I believe. There's a vacant lot next to it, and then there is another new construction building coming up next to it as well.
Okay, and you committed to local hiring,
Yes.
and that I know of, there is no cannabis operation anywhere near there.
No.
Amy, you have a question? Go ahead,
Yeah.
please.
Hi, I'm familiar with this building. So you said that it's 2 commercial spaces. Which one are you taking over then? Because isn't there that pallet store and then there's a bakery, right? In that building.
Yes, I believe we would be taking over. I'm not sure what the landlord is going to give us yet, but it's one of those. I can't say for sure.
Okay, thanks.
And this is Richard. You have heard my question about the training. If you've been listening.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, so minors, of course, we're committed not to selling to underage people. We believe, that is our top priority. Selling to minors is, obviously against the guidelines. So we'll be providing, comprehensive training on the local and the state guidelines, regarding the age requirements and stuff to our staff. We'll have the ID scanners as well. And then, regarding the intoxicated and inebriated individuals, we definitely do not want to get any cannabis in the hands of anybody under the influence of any substance. So we will be training our staff. Luckily we have an operations team that has been working with other card applicants. So other New York State dispensaries will be bringing the operations team on along with us to help the training with our staff.
Hey, thank you.
Anyone else have a question? No one? All right, thank you so much for being here. We'll be voting on this at the board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Okay. Eckhart Auto Sales, last but not least.
Yes, ma'am.
1401 31st Avenue. Okay, can you, is this a residential building?
No,
Okay, what's currently at that location?
next door. Was it? I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry, ma'am.
That's no problem. What's currently at this location?
A couple of stores in their area over there.
No,
Few
at this
stores.
particular, what is at 1401 31st Avenue?
A couple of stores and a small, like a warehouse thing.
Okay, so what location are you taking over?
I'm taking over the 1401, the 31st Street Avenue.
Okay, is there something at that location right now?
The landlord have a little store, but I'm not sure what he's doing with that.
Well, if you're gonna take it over, that little
No,
store won't be there, right?
yes, ma'am. I'm taking the next door store, 1401 31st Avenue.
Okay. All right, and you will have armed guards and you will use security cameras and scanners.
Absolutely, yes, ma'am. All that will be
And okay.
all my staff are well trained.
This is an you're gonna name this Eckhart Auto Sales? I'm confused by this.
No, ma'am, we're not gonna call it that. We're gonna change the name.
Okay, because it says here, when I receive my cannabis license from OCM, I will name the establishment
Yes.
Auto
We
Sales.
can change it after.
LLC.
Yes.
Yeah,
LLC.
but whatever. I
Yes,
mean,
we will be changed.
if I would see that name, I would go buy a car. I wouldn't be going to
Yes.
buy cannabis.
That was the idea in the beginning, but we changed it now.
I got it. Okay. All right. And did you commit to local hiring?
Absolutely, yes, ma'am. Sure.
Okay.
Happy.
Does anyone else have a question? Because I'm still
Yeah,
confused by the auto
I
sales.
have a
Okay.
question. Yeah.
It's pretty close to the Long Island City High School. So have you actually measured that distance to the high school?
It's not too close. It's a little far away, a few blocks away.
A few blocks, 500,000 feet is more than can be a few blocks. So,
yeah.
What is Marie? Can you confirm to a school like this? What is the number of feet that's allowed? Is it 500 or 1,000? Because I've heard both.
I believe it's 1,000. Actually, they don't even use feet.
Okay.
But I think it's 1,000.
That should be.
I mean, I think they make it, to be fair.
Okay. All right. Okay.
To be fair. But obviously, it's the Office of Cannabis Management who vets the addresses.
Okay.
Not us.
Then it must be okay.
Even though we keep looking at the addresses, it's up to OCM to vet the addresses.
Okay. Yeah, well, other than that, my normal question is as it has been, your staff, your training, and to make sure the minors and the inebriated are not served.
Well, absolutely, all my staff will be trained. I'm gonna hire all trained bud tenders, and we're gonna make sure that all of them to be hired, trained already.
Okay.
And I got some people already that's online that I work with them, that I know them for my experience in life, and they told me that they have people lined up to start working, and I'm going to hire a few people to be professional in my store. Everybody will be in uniforms, secured cameras. It's going to be a high line, store, a very friendly consumer environment.
Okay, my only concern is with that location is that's a very busy location when school lets out, even though you might be 1,000 feet or better. It's very congested. You're right on the corner there. So, how are you going to handle that on the outside?
I'm going to have security guards outside and security guards inside. Plus, I have cameras. And it's going to be a very secure environment. It's not that anyone can just walk in. It's not going to be a candy store. There's going to be someone. I have scanners. I have ID scanners to be, all the IDs will be scanned before, getting in the store. And my security guards will be outside and inside the store to make sure no minors will be walking into the store, even by mistake. I'm not taking no chances.
Dan, you had a question?
Yeah, I do. You were naming your store auto sales or whatever, car sales.
Yes.
That tells me that you needed enough room to have cars in there. So how big is this space?
No, it's a store, plus I have a basement for stores. That's all. There's no parking. There's nothing for cars, really.
So how were you going to do cars there?
I will not.
I think it was
it's a leasing company. It's a leasing company. Basically, it's an office, it's a computer, and a desk.
So, okay, so it's a very small store.
Correct.
Okay, and okay. So
So
most of your people are going to be lined
Through
up
the
outside
chair.
then.
I'm
Well,
sorry, ma'am.
I have a question. Will you still be leasing cars when you
No,
open
ma'am.
it?
No,
Okay,
ma'am. No, ma'am. We're not going to be leasing no cars there anymore.
okay,
We
very
cannot do that no more.
right. I'm still very surprised by that name, but okay, and I think a lot of people are and confused.
Yeah, I guess changing the name maybe later on would be an idea to change it later on maybe.
Oh yeah, because you're gonna get people coming in there looking for a car.
Looking for a car, yes, sure. I'm definitely gonna talk to my lawyer about that and see what
They're going to
we
be looking
can.
for buying cars.
Yeah, high-end cars. That's true. But we're not gonna do that. We're gonna say, have a store there, and we're not gonna lease no cars over there no more.
Okay,
Madam Chair, for clarity,
yes,
even with the liquor licenses, we receive LLCs, corporations, and incorporations.
I
Those,
understand that. I'm not questioning that. I'm questioning the name of it.
yeah, no. What I'm going to finish with is
ECHA.
the DBA. DBA is always very different than the LLC, the incorporation, or so on.
Well,
So even though they could continue with e-car auto sales LLC because they do license cars right now, when they flip the business, the DBA could be Top Smoke or something, whatever they decide to put it.
I understand that. I'm
Just for
just
clarity.
looking, or I understand that. I just feel like we look at all of them and we go, yeah, that fits. We look at this one, we go, doesn't fit. But that's up to him. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we'll be voting on all these items next week at the board meeting.
Thank you very
Motion,
much.
motion to adjourn, anyone? Come on. Okay, Amy.
I'm
second.
Motion, yes.
Motion
Yes.
second.
Thank you all for being here. Have a great
Thanks, bye.
evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Bye.
How we close this?